guys, welcome in. I'm Sabrina for those of you who don't know me yet, and today we're gonna do my 26 and 26. Now listen. I hear you. So many people make these types of videos and then they get to the end of the year and they're like, oh, I have not read 2/3 of this list. I promise you, this is my promise right now, that I will be completing this list in 2026. It gives me literal hives to make a list and not finish it. So I will be finishing this. That is my promise to you. So please stick around throughout 2026 to see the progress. And then, here's the thing. If I don't finish it, I am giving everyone full permission to create a video roasting me, and I will splice those all together and post it in December next year. 100% promise, and you can hold me to it. You can link back to this video and hold me to it. I should mention that every book that I have picked for this list is a book that I already physically own, because I'm trying to help myself reduce my number of physically owned TBR books so I can get these books off of the floor. There's piles of books on the floor that needs to go. There's no room for them on the shelves. So I need to reduce that. And then also, I have picked books that I feel like would linger on my shelves into eternity for one reason or another. So I'm picking books that I would probably just not pick in 2026 if I didn't force myself to by creating this list. So anyway, let's just get right into it. Okay, I'm gonna just take you guys across and then down the bookshelves. That seems like the easiest way to do this. So let's start at the top over here. The first one that I have is going to be Gideon the Ninth. This book, I purchased it because I said I was gonna read it at the time in October, and I swear to you I was, but it didn't happen. And I feel super bad about that. So Gideon is gonna be on the list, and hopefully I knock that one out soon, because I really wanna know if I'm into this series and if I should buy the rest of the books, okay? So that's the first one. Then we have The Last Murder at the End of the World. I bought this such a long time ago. She's gorgeous, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but I wanna make sure that I am prioritizing this one because it's an author that I've never read before, and I've heard really good things about it. And I don't want it to linger and die on my shelf forever, because it's not one that's super hyped up or anything like that. So it's easy for me to forget about it. And so again, I have a reason for every book that I picked. They're things that I thought would probably stay on my shelf forever. And so I'm trying to prevent that from happening. Then we have Mad Honey, which is by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. So this one was one that I think it was Emily Fox, who is genuinely my favorite YouTube booktuber, and I believe she recommended this book. I'm pretty sure that's where this recommendation came from, but I hunted this down. I went to so many different bookstores and finally found it when I was in somewhere in Virginia. I have a vlog for that trip, and I finally found it, but then I just put it on my shelf to die. So she needs to be read. Coming over here, we have The Listeners by Maggie Stiefvater. The concept of this book just sounds so super awesome to me. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I purchased it. I purchased this on release day, and I was like, yes. And then the last one that's up here is gonna be You Could Do Damage by Casey Mills. I bought this on my birthday trip because the cover is gorgeous, and I heard someone in the store talking about the author having dropped the book off at the bookstore that I was at personally, and that's cool. Yeah, this one, and then I never read it like so many of the other books. I've got to get better at that. Okay, coming down to the middle set of shelves here. Oh, she's gonna be a little tough to get out because of my decorations, but I have The Night and Its Moon by Piper CJ. I always want to say CJ Piper. Piper CJ. I have the entire series here because I just thought the covers were absolutely stunning. They're beautiful. And I bought the whole series knowing absolutely nothing about them. This was a blind purchase during my birthday month, I think, where I was like, I'm gonna treat myself and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. And I thought I'm trying to like scroll through it because I thought that like all of these were signed, but this one doesn't look like it. Maybe it's 2 through 4 are signed and number 1 was not, but they're all signed other than number 1, I believe. These are all the signed editions. So I want to start this series, like super into it. I was planning to read this as my quadrology for Herked, for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, but then I started listening to the Audible series of The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and so I just never got to these. Now, in that same vein is the next book in Tahereh Mafi's series. What is the series called? I don't remember. But I'm on book 4, which will be Ignite Me. Now, I was going to pull it out and show you, but there are so many books stacked on top of this one that I don't have the strength or the energy for that. But Ignite Me will be the 4th book in that series, and I would like to really finish that series because I own all of them. I am pointing here. I don't know if you can actually see this on the camera or not, but it's down here. So that's that one. Then, The Poppy War. I got this stunning cover of it. I mean, she's absolutely stunning. And I really want to get into this series. I just haven't. Again, I just haven't. You know what? I didn't realize that these pages were stark white. I don't really love a stark white page. But I got this because this edition of it was stunning and I wanted to make sure that I had this. I mean, it's got the bookmark built into it and everything. There's no reason why I haven't started reading these yet. So we're going to make that a priority for 2026. Then if we move to this side, I've got 2 books over here. The first of which is older. It's what it sounds like. It's an age gap romance. I believe it's like My Best Friend's Father. I don't know. I bought this in the summertime because, I mean, the edges just were giving and I was like, I really want to read that. Didn't do it. And I'm honestly not sure that I would pick this up anytime soon if I don't put this on this list. I feel like this would be like 10 years down the road and I'd be like, oh, remember that time I bought that book? And then the last one on this side, I have The Measure by Nikki Erlich. I also have The Poppy Fields, which I debated between which book I wanted to do, but this one I already own and I've had 3 different friends tell me that I absolutely need to read this, and she's just been staring at me. I mean, I don't know why. She's got the gold edges and like that's always fun to read. It's a very pretty book and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet, but it's not a book that is just like taunting me from the shelves like, hey girl, you need to read me. So again, putting it on the list to like force myself to go ahead and pick it up and do it. Okay, so let's talk about what I have down here on the bottom level of my nonsense existence here. There's so many books stacked on top of the book that I'm trying to show you. It's out of control. All right, so that one is going to be The Night Circus, which I just recently picked up on our trip to Orlando for our 10-year anniversary in October. So I haven't had it for that long, but I 100% know that this is one of those books that will land over here and then just never be picked up again, because it's almost like my brain is like, okay girl, you know you want to read that book, you own it, you're good now. And never like push myself into the next step, which is the picking it up and reading it part. So yes, The Night Circus is on that list. Let me try to attempt to put this stack back together. And this is the problem with having books on the floor, is that you just have them stacked all cattywampus and it's difficult to put them back together. Okay, moving right along, we have A Declaration of the Rights of Musicians. Is that right? Magicians, The Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry. Silly me, I purchased A Radical Act of Free Magic without realizing that she was book 2. So then I had to go back and get book 1. I mean, shortly I realized this was book 2, so then I just like relegated to my shelves, had to go back and get book 1. So I need to actually read book 1 so that I can read book 2, which, to be honest, book 2 sounds more interesting to me than book 1 does, but like, not going to be able to read book 2 first. So, and this is a really popular shelf for the 26 and 26 because I also really want to read A Feather So Black. This one, book 3, is coming out this year. I've got book 1 and book 2 already. So we need to get a move on because these sound incredible. And once again, purchased, put it on the shelf, and that was the end of it. I think a part of what happened this year is that I also, like, while I was buying a bunch of books, I also was trying to push myself out of reading like so much fantasy and into reading some more like lit fic and romance and things like that. And so it got to the point where I was basically ignoring fantasy. That's crazy. So 2 more from this exact shelf, which is a fantasy shelf. The first one is The North Wind, which I wrote this on the list, and I believe this is the first one that was published in this series, because there's North, South, and West, and I'm pretty sure East is coming out in like January, February. And so I'm pretty sure that North Wind is the first one. Now, I'm saying this because I made the disclaimer that if I don't finish my 26 and 26, you guys can beat me up. What I'm saying is that this one, if it's not the first one published, then I'm gonna switch it for whichever one was published first. So I don't think you have to read them in a particular order, but again, the way my brain is set up, I do. I have to read them in publication order. So I may switch this if I come to realize that I made a mistake. Now, I don't think I did, but as I was sitting here pulling this out for you, I was like, wait a minute, is this one first? Or does my brain just think North is first because it's at the top? And then the last one from this shelf is going to be Brando Sando's Elantris. Now, I read Tress of the Emerald Sea and I loved it, and I was like, okay, now I've had like an entry into Brandon Sanderson. It's time to get into some of his serious work. Haven't read it yet. And I hunted this down too. I couldn't find this anywhere. I like literally had to hunt this book down just to put it on my shelf to die. It's not lonely. There's another Brandon Sanderson over here. It's Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, so it's not like it's lonely. It's just being ignored by me. Well, let me scooch over there so we can see what's on this side, shall I? Okay, that's better. So now let's move on to the middle section here, because I got quite a few in this section that I have selected. The first of which, The Priory of the Freaking Orange Tree. Listen, I know this is a beloved book. What did we have to say for this many pages? It better be damn good, y'all, because the second book isn't much better. Okay, and it's not like the text is huge either. Okay, so I want to read this book. I really, really want to, and I have been afraid. I have been afraid to read it. And so 2026, we're gonna crack open the chunky books, and this one absolutely has to be read. I have a soft goal of reading these chunky books for 2026, but this one's gonna be a hard goal. I may need a lengthy amount of time to recover after reading that. I'm not really sure. All right, coming down here, I've got The Devil Three Times. I have met the gentleman author of this book. First of all, he cute. Second of all, he signed my book even though I told him I hadn't read it yet. And third of all, I told him I was gonna read it in October and I didn't. Ricky, I know you're not watching this video. It's very unlikely that you are, but just in case you are, I do apologize, sir. And if it helps, you're cute, so yeah. I'm gonna read this in 2026 because it's on the list and I said so, so there's that. We've also got The Maker of Swans. My husband picked this book out for me on his own with no goading or anything from me. And I read the synopsis of it and it sounds really interesting. So I want to make sure that I prioritize this in 2026 so that he can get the feedback that he needs to continue purchasing me books. If it's not good, I need to send him in a different direction. If it is good, I need him to know that this is where we need to be. City of Brass. Y'all know this book. I don't know why I purchased it and then never read it. I want to read it really bad, but I haven't. So we're going to make sure that gets done. She's kind of a chunky book too. I mean, she's not that bad, but it's a good size book. So there's that. I'm starting a lot of series in 2026. Should I do a series tracker? I'm not doing a series tracker currently because I just don't really care like how many series I'm in the middle of, or maybe I don't want to know. Maybe that's actually more accurate, is I don't want to know how many series I'm in the middle of. But I don't know. Should I do a series tracker? Okay, we're almost there, y'all. I got like 3 more sections to go through. So the first book in this section over here is going to be Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher. I really want to read this. I had to wait for it to come out on paperback because it was not a book I was interested in owning in hardcover. 600 pounds. Oh, it's so long. This is actually a chunky book too, but it just doesn't look as chunky. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't look as big, but it's a chunky book too. So Swordcatcher is going to be read in 2026, have no doubt. And then hopefully we're going to move on to the next book, because this is another one where is it the Ragpicker King? That one actually sounds more interesting than Swordcatcher does to me, but of course we have to read the first one first before we can read the second one. So that's why this is here. And as I'm doing this, I'm seeing other books that I'm like, oh, I should have put that on the list too. So I couldn't put all of them. I can only pick 26, but here we are. These shelves need to be dusted. All right, moving on. We've got A Whisper in the Walls. I read the first one of this series on my Kindle. I freaking loved it. And then I went and I bought book 2 and never bothered picking it up. I'm ready to get through this series, but the truth is, I think I put it down because book 3 is not available in paperback yet. And I'm like, girl, you could just read it on your Kindle. But I do have a rule that I don't purchase Kindle books unless they are $1.99 or less. And currently that one on Kindle is like $12.99, I think. That's not going to happen. My library, like Libby, doesn't have it, and it's not available in paperback at the store. So it's kind of putting it off for that reason. But I think that I am just going to do it, bite the bullet, and if I have to, I will get the hardcover book from the library and then wait for it to come out in paperback so I can complete the collection. So that's gonna be that. Now this next one's gonna be a little bit difficult to get to, so bear with me for just a second. All right, I've been wanting to read this for a while, and then I was really ready to pull the trigger and purchase the book, and then we came out with new covers. So Jade City by Fonda Lee, I found my dream cover version of this book. She is going to be read in 2026. Mark my words, okay? So there's that. And I do have the whole set. So like once we read Jade City, we can just continue on with the series. But I only put one book on the 26 and 26, okay? Then there's this one called Mordu that I picked up on a whim, but it sounded really good, and it sounded like a good rich fantasy, and I want to know if I should go purchase the rest of them. But how would I know until I read the first one? Like, how would I know if I like vibe with the author and like the way that they write? So I want to, it's a little bit of an older fantasy, so I want to get through this one and just see if this is an author that I like and if I should continue the series or if I just need to unhaul this book. But I know for a fact that this is one that would just sit on my shelf forever and never get read, and then by the time I get around to it, if it is good, I would not be able to find the rest of the series somewhere, or I wouldn't be able to find the matching covers, and then I'd be pissed. So we're gonna get that one done. Okay, I think we got like 3 more to go to. I think that's what it is. So on my TBR cart, which is still set up for fall because I don't have anywhere to put these books and just felt like too much of a deal to like reorganize them. So it's set up for fall still, but here we go. What I'm going to promise myself for 2026 is the following books. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've owned this forever. Haven't read it yet, and she's coming out with a 3rd book in the series in 2026 or early 2027, so we got to get into it. All right, so there's Ninth House. There's also this chunker, Ordinary Monsters, because I want to read book 2 and I haven't read book 1, and they both sound really, really good to me. But don't ask me. I bought it because I was in a chunky book mood, and now I'm like, girl, you should be reading this. One more. This Ravenous Fate. I cannot wait to read this, and I really wanted to read it in October, but I just simply ran out of time. So now it's just going to happen at whatever time in 2026. I want to put it off till October 2026, but I kind of want to read it sooner than that. So we'll see what ends up happening, but it will be read before 2027 is here. So that is the final book on my 26 in 26 list. And I hope that you guys are excited to follow along on this journey. Like I said, I super promise you that I will be completing all 26 of these books in the year. That's like, I need to have like 2-ish of those on my list each month in order to make progress on that. So we'll see what ends up happening, but it will happen before 2026 is over. Anyway, I am so glad that you guys are here, and since you made it to this part of the video, go ahead and hit the like button for me. If you're not subscribed yet, I'm not sure why not, but you should also subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. And with that said, I will see you all in the very next video.